Hello, in this short lecture I will give you a few reasons why God doesn't exist. The first reason why God doesn't exist is that God would have never created such an imperfect world. The second reason why God doesn't exist is that God would have never created the human beings that are capable to do wrong and evil because he could have created from the beginning creatures that could do only good things, good deeds, and not evil. And why at all to create something and then to test it? Because the problem with that is that if you create something that eventually does bad things, it is your fault. So it could have proved that God Himself is not perfect. So it is impossible that God created the human beings in order to test Him. Because when the human being fails, it is actually says that God that created the human beings, he is the one that actually imperfect. Okay, so the third reason why God doesn't exist is that God would have never created such a world with a lot of diseases, deaths, sufferings of human beings, a lot of disasters such as earthquakes, floods, hurricanes, a lot of killings, a lot of wars. There is a lot of evil in this world, and God, that is perfect, would have never created such a world that there are so much bad things in that world that God, that is perfect, would have never created such a bad world. Okay. The fourth reason why God doesn't exist is that God could have never created one animal that in order to survive, in order that that animal will survive, it must kill the other animal. The lion must kill the deer or the lamb in order to survive. So the survival of one animal is dependent in the cruel killings of other animals, and God would have never created such a world with such injustice. Okay. Um, Another and actually the last reason why God doesn't exist is that there are actually three monotheistic religions. That is the Judaism, the Christianity, and the Islam. And those three religions are contradict each other. Uh, Actually, they have a different story about who is God and how He created the world. So they contradict each other, and from that contradiction, you can deduce that no religious is true, that all the religions are fake. They are the invention of the human being. Okay, so actually the human being created God, and God was never existed. Okay, so those are the few reasons why God doesn't exist. Okay, thank you very much.